The difference is that I play the truth. So if you go to the devil to play the devil will deceive you and put something up there that deceives the public. He'll always try to hide in the shadow. He'll always try, because he doesn't like the light, even though he's called the light.
For nearly 2 decades, Ellen DeGeneres built one of the most recognizable brands in daytime television. She became known as the Be Kind Queen, a host whose image was centered around generosity, humor, and positivity. To millions of viewers, she represented kindness itself. But over the years, a very different narrative began to emerge from people who claimed to have worked with her or crossed paths with her behind the scenes. As more stories surfaced, questions about what was really happening away from the cameras became harder to ignore. Actor JimCaviezel has also weighed in, suggesting that many within Hollywood were already aware of rumors surrounding Ellen's reputation long before they became public. Combined with allegations from former employees and public criticism from several celebrities, those comments have added to the ongoing discussion surrounding her public image. So how much did people in the entertainment industry actually know? And if these stories had been circulating for years, why did so many remain silent until much later?
Ellen was like really weird and not nice to me for most of my career.
So you worked for Ellen as well?
Yeah, I did the first 2 years on that show.
And she
was rough. She was the C word. Yeah.
She was not nice to you.
Those opening remarks set the stage for what JimCaviezel claims has been an open secret in Hollywood for years. According to him, many insiders already knew that Ellen's off-camera reputation was very different from the image viewers saw every afternoon on television. By 2020, that conversation became impossible to ignore after numerous current and former employees described what they alleged was a toxic workplace on the set of the Ellen DeGeneres show. Those allegations received widespread media attention and sparked an industry-wide discussion about workplace culture. But according to Caviezel, those reports were only part of a much longer story. He argues that crew members, guests, and even celebrities had allegedly experienced similar behavior for years, but were reluctant to speak publicly. One of the earliest high-profile critics was comedian Kathy Griffin. In her memoir, she described a famous daytime talk show host with short blonde hair who she claimed had a reputation throughout Hollywood for being far less friendly behind closed doors. Although the passage was initially written as a blind item, Griffin later confirmed she was referring to Ellen DeGeneres. Griffin also recalled discussing the issue publicly, saying she confronted Ellen about supporting other women in comedy. According to Griffin, that conversation became emotional and ended badly, further fueling a feud that had reportedly been building for years.
Kathy versus Ellen, round 2. It began in Kathy Griffin's book. It was a blind item about a certain beloved daytime talk show host who has short blonde hair. Then in an Access interview, Kathy revealed who that was, Ellen DeGeneres, and how Ellen has not been supportive to her, Liz. Well, Ellen heard about that interview and she did not like what she heard.
She was furious.
What did she say? What did she say?
She just really was on a rant.
After hearing those claims, many people began revisiting other moments that had previously gone unnoticed. Griffin later shared additional stories about her interactions with Ellen, including allegations surrounding backstage treatment at the Emmy Awards. She also acknowledged that she could not prove who was responsible for certain incidents. What remained consistent throughout her public comments was her belief that their relationship had been strained for years. Griffin said she felt unsupported within the comedy community and used her own experiences as an example of what she believed was a larger issue among prominent entertainers. Whether people agreed with her or not, her comments encouraged audiences to look more closely at Ellen's public image and compare it with stories being shared behind the scenes. And as it turned out, Griffin wasn't the only celebrity whose interactions with Ellen would later receive renewed attention.
Ellen, this is my experience with you. I said, you've been mean to me. I'm not saying you're a mean person across the board, but you can't take my story away. It's my experience.
As more stories resurfaced, viewers began revisiting several memorable interviews from the Ellen DeGeneres show. Some moments that originally appeared awkward or humorous suddenly looked very different once they were viewed through the lens of the workplace allegations. One of the most talked about exchanges involved Dakota Johnson, whose response to Ellen's question about not being invited to a birthday party quickly became a viral clip. Many viewers interpreted the exchange as unexpectedly tense, especially after Johnson corrected Ellen's version of events on camera. That wasn't the only interview people revisited. Wendy Williams also had an uncomfortable appearance on the show, where playful banter between the two hosts led to several awkward exchanges that continued to circulate online years later. As these clips spread across social media, many people began debating whether they reflected Ellen's interviewing style or something more significant. Whatever the interpretation, they added fuel to an already growing conversation.
Okay. Oh, gosh. As much as I want to not like him, I love his new song, and he really is cute. And some people say that he looks like you. I've heard that. You've never heard that? They say it in a good way. Okay, fine.
Those celebrity interviews weren't the only moments critics pointed to. Other interactions involving guests and audience members also came under renewed scrutiny. One widely discussed interview featured Justin Bieber, who appeared visibly uncomfortable after being questioned about his personal life during a segment that many viewers later described as unusually awkward. The exchange became another example frequently cited in online discussions about Ellen's interviewing approach. Former audience members also shared their own experiences. Dana DiMatteo, for example, described what she claimed was a backstage environment that felt uncomfortable and overly controlled. JimCaviezel echoed the broader criticism by arguing that Ellen's off-camera personality differed sharply from the cheerful image she projected on television. As criticism intensified, Ellen addressed the controversy publicly. She acknowledged that mistakes had been made, apologized to staff, and said she was committed to making changes. She also disputed some of the more extreme rumors that circulated online. Even so, the apology did little to quiet the debate. Supporters viewed it as an attempt to take responsibility, while critics argued that it couldn't undo years of alleged mistreatment described by former employees and guests. Whether fair or unfair, Ellen's carefully cultivated public image had changed dramatically. For many observers, the contrast between the Be Kind brand and the allegations became the defining story of the show's final years.
I was like, Ellen's not that nice.
This was after you went on the show?
After I went on the show.
What was it like meeting Ellen? And is she a good person?
Let's just all go back to 2017, where I was the first person to call Ellen out before anyone else
You called her out?
Yeah.
The conversation surrounding Ellen has also extended beyond workplace allegations. Some online discussions have focused on people from different periods of her life, particularly actress Anne Heche, who was in a high-profile relationship with Ellen during the late 1990s. Their relationship attracted enormous public attention at the time, before eventually coming to an end. Years later, Anne Heche tragically died following a devastating car crash in 2022. The circumstances surrounding the accident generated significant online speculation and numerous conspiracy theories. However, investigators did not conclude that foul play was involved, and no public evidence has substantiated many of the claims that circulated online. Even so, some commentators questioned Ellen's relatively limited public response, which became another topic of discussion among critics and supporters alike.
Have you spoken to Anne Heche at all since her accident?
If not,
Do you want to...
we're not in touch with each other, so I would.
Anne Heche wasn't the only person whose story became linked to public conversations about Ellen. Online discussions have also referenced Ellen's former girlfriend Kat Perkoff, as well as Leslie Jordan and Stephen Twitch Boss, both of whom had close professional ties to the Ellen DeGeneres show. Each of those deaths occurred under different circumstances, and authorities publicly identified different causes or explanations in each case. Nevertheless, some internet users attempted to connect these unrelated tragedies, giving rise to unsupported theories that continue to circulate online despite the lack of evidence for a broader connection. Those theories remain speculative, but they demonstrate how intensely Ellen's reputation has been examined in recent years. Ultimately, JimCaviezel's comments, allegations from former employees, criticism from celebrities, and widespread public debate have all contributed to a major shift in how many people view Ellen DeGeneres today. Whether someone believes those accounts, questions them, or falls somewhere in between, the controversy serves as a reminder that a public persona doesn't always capture the full complexity of a person behind the scenes. As more voices continue to share their experiences, discussions about Ellen's legacy and the culture of power within Hollywood itself are likely to continue.